Good evening, everybody. Today we're gonna do a little video about splicing. So it's a very, very important skill. So if you have a look at any rope that we have, nearly every single one will have an eye spliced onto it. Okay, so and that eye will then go onto a bollard to start tying up the boat. So whether you're looking at a smaller line like this one that we use to tie our gangways on, or the big lines that we use, we use to tie the boat up, most of them will be a 3-strand. As you can see, there's 3 strands to the rope, silver rope, which is this white plasticky looking rope. So today we're going to learn how to do an eye splice, how to create a permanent eye in a 3-strand silver rope. Whether it's a small one or a big one, it doesn't matter, it's all the same technique. Okay, it's a very, very important technique to learn. So today we're going to learn how to make a permanent eye. Of course you can use a knot to make an eye, but the splice is indefinitely stronger and does not come loose or stretch or anything like that. So of course when I'm saying splice, I mean tucking the rope back into itself, and that will create that beautiful eye. Okay, so first is preparation. Okay, what you need is of course the piece of rope. That's a given. Also electrical tape might come in handy. Some rope, if it's a bit stiff, you might want to get a feed, which is a special tool used for splicing. You might find it on the boat or in the splicing kits up in Ops. So we'll have a look at this one. So the first thing you want to do is mark how much of the rope you want to tuck into itself. So all the strands need to be tucked at least three times into the standing part of the rope. At least 3 tucks on each of the strands. So when you're marking how much rope you're going to use to tuck into the standing part, you kind of estimate how much rope you need, but it's always better to go a little bit more than what you think. You can always cut off the excess anyway. So over here what I've done is first is I put a piece of electrical tape to mark how much rope I'm going to be splicing, how much of the strands I'm going to be splicing into the standing part. And as you can see, once I put this piece of electrical tape, I've separated the strands and also taped the ends of the strands themselves, so they're easier to tuck into the rope. Okay, so from this point, what you also want to do is measure how big is your eye. What are you going to do here? Are you going to do a really big eye or a really small eye? Okay, so I've marked a very small eye, okay, over here. So I'm imagining that this is the size eye that I want. From the blue marker where the strands separate, I'm going to create an eye and then put another marker, another piece of tape there, just to mark this eye. And those pieces of tape, of course, they're not, you don't have to do them, but especially at the beginning it really, really helps. Okay, so now I got my eye marked and I have my strands separated and taped, ready to go. So let's get into the technique. Move my coffee. Alright, so as you can see, we have 3 strands here, and I'm going to lay the strands against the marker of where my eye is going to start. Okay, and those strands are separated, and as you can see, it's very simple. We have the right strand, the left strand, and the middle strand. Okay, to start the first tuck, what you do is you start with the middle strand and you untwist the line about at the marker of where your eye needs to be, and you put the middle strand in first, just like that. You see that? In it goes. Now your middle one is tucked in, you have the right and the left. After the middle, you always go to the left one, and now you start in with a very common method of over and under. What I mean, if you look at this left strand, you see over here that the left strand is going to go over one strand and going to get tucked under the next one. Alright, so I'm going to untwist it to open, and you can see that the left strand going over and then under. There we go, and that's the second strand tucked in. To do the third strand on the right hand side, the best thing to do is to flip the rope over. Okay, now when you flip the rope over, you can see the 2 strands where the lines are coming out of. The third strand is going to go where the right hand here, once you flip the line, the right hand strand here coming out of. This one is going to go under the same one, but it's going to go the other way, this way. So open that, and the third one goes around under the same one where this one comes out of, in and the other way. All right, and after you tucked each strand, you always check. After each full tuck, you always check. The best way to check that you've done it right is have a look in here. Between every two strands, you should have one strand separation. Everybody see that? If I move to these two strands, you see again one strand separation, and again one strand separation. That means that you've done this tuck properly. After you've done the first tuck, it's important to tidy it up. So you start pulling the strands gently and evenly until you can see that the beginning of the eye is starting to form and it's nice and tidy here. Okay, so give it a little stretch. Now we're gonna go with another tuck. Remember, we need at least 3 full tucks on all the strands. So start with any of the strands that you like and tuck it with the over-under method. So I'm gonna go over this strand and under that one, untwist, over and under. Remember, after the middle one or the first one that you've done in the tuck, you always go to the left one and you use the same over and under. So this is the left strand, over that one, under this one. Let's open that one, go over and under. And remember, for the third strand, always the best, flip the rope over, look at where the right hand strand coming out of, there's your strand to tuck under. So here you don't go over under with the third one, you just always go with the same method of where the right hand strand come out of, open that and just tuck in the other way. And of course, after every tuck, again check for one strand separation. If you don't have the one strand separation, undo the last tuck, redo it again. You messed up somewhere. Once you know you're okay, keep going with the same method. Let's start again. Take one of the strand, call that the middle one, it doesn't matter, and over and under, over one, under one. Then go to the left, again, over and under. And then for the third one, again, flip it over, have a look where the first one comes out of, same strand, open it and go the other way. Check your one strand separation and repeat at least 3 strands, okay? At least 3 full tucks of each of the strands. Now that we have 3 full tucks, I'm gonna show you how to finish it very well. How do you finish an eye splice? The best way to finish is to taper. You see the splice here, you want to be tapering, and from time to time, of course, you want to cinch the rope, cinch the knot as you go, cinch the splice. To finish it, the best way is to taper. You want this splice to slowly come down in width to the standing part of the line. This way the rope or the splice can pass through small spaces easily and comfortably. So to finish up, here's what we're going to do. We're going to choose first the shortest strand, okay? And we're going to leave that one alone. That one doesn't move, okay? We're going to take the one to the left of that strand and we're going to tuck it to the right of that strand. So this is the short one. We're going to take to the right of that and we're going to tuck that once. So the right one, tuck once. That's it. Over and under method. And now we're going to take the third one and we're going to tuck twice. So over, under, tuck once, and tuck that one again, over, under, tuck again. And as you can see, you'll end up with all 3 strands coming out of the same side of the splice, and you might be able to tell here, once I cinch it up, that the splice slowly tapers down into the standing part of the rope. So now the splice is finished. To finish it properly, you're going to do this. Rub it between your hands, or if it's a big rope, you can lay it on the floor and give it a good one with your boot. You can see that kind of brings the splice nicely together. If you have a hot knife, you can leave it just like that, nothing is wrong with it. If you have a hot knife, you can also cut the excess of the strands and melt the end of the strand onto the splice itself, and that'll make it beautiful and tidy as well. So there's your eye splice, ladies and gentlemen. Nice and simple. Please, please, please practice that. Every single crew member should practice and should know how to make an eye splice. Very, very basic seamanship skill. Hope that video was clear. Any questions, or if you need another demo, come see me or any experienced crew member. Thank you.